By the end of today's episode, you'll know how to use a job that you recently booked as a way to shortcut the process of landing a great agent. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today I'll be covering what I call the pay-to-negotiate strategy to get agent meetings, when to use this strategy and when not to, and an actual email script that you can send to improve your shot at this working. So what is the strategy? Well, I call it the pay to negotiate strategy. Basically what happens is you book an indie film job on your own, like through a casting website or whatever, and then you reach out to an agent that you want to work with, and you offer them the chance to negotiate the contract in exchange for a commission, almost as if they're already your agent. The goal is to build some rapport, show that you're booking, and possibly get long-term representation from that agent. So does this really work? It does. It's not super common because most actors don't think to do it. And it's not, of course, guaranteed, but agents do like low-risk opportunities, and this is one, right? So you've already done the hard part of getting the job, and then they get paid without even having to pitch you. And they also get to see how you work and see that you're actually booking things. So how much should the job pay for it to be worth it? Well, ideally, it should be at least worth $1,000, okay? It should be a SAG-AFTRA or a very solid independent production and have a legitimate contract, right? TV co-stars or national commercials or a high-quality short or feature film that's being done by some sort of independent filmmaker maybe who just won an award. All of those types of things work really well. And if it pays $500 or less, the agent probably isn't going to bite. So I generally don't recommend doing this at all if that's the amount that you're being paid. So let's talk a little bit about the email that you can send. So the subject line, you could use something like just booked a role - looking for negotiation help. And in the email itself, hi agent's name. I just booked a feature film or whatever type of project it is that requires some contract negotiation. And I need someone to help with this in exchange for a standard commission. Would you be open to speaking about this, or do you know of someone who might be? Thanks so much. That's pretty much it, right? And when you send this email, some agents might respond. You want to reach out slowly to a few different ones, not like send it out to a whole bunch of people, because if you get lots of people responding, that could be problematic. But on the other hand, just remember that, obviously you don't have a lot of time to negotiate this contract. So it kind of has to go fairly quickly. So you could reach out to a few of them. And if some of them, if two respond yes, then you pick which person you want to work with. And then you say, hey, actually, I wound up finding someone else who's able to negotiate the contract. But thank you so much. I'll let you know if I book another job. You can say that sort of message to the agent that you're not going to wind up working with, right? Now, when do you not want to use this strategy? Well, again, if the job is lower paid or if it's background work, that's not going to impress anybody, right? Even if it's 10 days worth of background, it's not really going to help your agent relationship by trying to get signed for a background job. They usually don't care. Also, if there's no contract to negotiate, obviously, in that case, there's nothing for the agent to do. You also don't want to absolutely do this and never do this if you already have an agent or manager, because that will be a big conflict. If you do have an agent or a manager and you booked a job on your own, ask your current agent or manager to negotiate it. That's an easy way to kind of keep your relationship strong, because then you're not kind of working and booking things behind their back. Anytime you book something, even if it's on your own, you should always reach out to your agent if you want to have a strong relationship with them and say, hey, I just booked this job. I have this contract. Are you open to negotiating it for your standard commission? And that'll kind of help them and make them want to keep pushing for you. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Another reason you may not want to do this strategy is if the job came through family member or as a favor, or, it's not an industry standard type of job that just might look weird, or they might not, be clear on what you need their help with. Okay. So you really can use book jobs as leverage. Okay. This pay to negotiate strategy is a simple and often underutilized way to open agent doors. Okay. Just make sure that the job is worth their time and has a contract attached. If you present it clearly and professionally, you might just turn one acting role into a long-term agent partnership. Thanks for listening today. Now, if you want to dive even deeper on agents and how to get signed, I highly recommend checking out my podcast called Want an Acting Agent? Stop Waiting to Be Discovered and Do This Instead. It's episode number 145. I dive deep on strategies that you should use to go about finding and signing with a great agent. Check it out. Again, it's episode number 145. Want an Acting Agent? Stop Waiting to Be Discovered and Do This Instead. It's on the Actor's Career Compass. Lastly, if you found this podcast helpful, I would really appreciate if you could leave a review, or if you're watching on YouTube, just a like on the video, or even a comment, or of course a subscription if you're open to that. I try to respond to all of my comments personally, at least at this stage in my YouTube channel. So if you have a question for me, feel free to write it there and I'll reply. But if you want to leave a review, any of these things really help more actors find the podcast. So to leave a review, you just go to ratethispodcast.com/actor success. And I try to read some of the reviews that I get. Actually, I pretty much read most of the reviews that come in on the podcast live. So feel free to leave one and I'll read it at some point down the line. Okay. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.